Jesus asked his disciples to do some pretty interesting things. At least that's what I thought about when I read his instruction to his disciples to set up this place for their Passover meal. I mean, it made me think about the times that he told his disciples to go fishing, go catch whatever the first fish they caught, open up its mouth, take the coin out of its mouth, and then pay the taxes with that coin, to going into town and untying the donkey and its colt. And if someone asks, just say it's for the Lord. And maybe there is a backstory about setting up this Passover meal, but it just made me think about how simple the disciples most times responded to Jesus's direction. As it says in verse 19, the disciples did as Jesus directed. If you recall, if you caught yesterday's devotional, we talked a little bit about how a disciple is simply a student. Nothing special other than the fact that they are learning whatever it may be. So you can be a disciple of many things. And so the disciples were simply learners of Jesus. At least most of them were. Judas obviously followed, but he did not truly follow Jesus. But most of them took Jesus' word to heart, and they obeyed him. And so the same is true for us. If you are a Christian, you should be a disciple. Your life should look like Jesus's. That does not mean you will live a perfect life. We know the disciples were not perfect, but he has called us to follow the one who was perfect, to follow him. And so his word, the Bible, as we'll let this pass on by, his word is full of instruction and direction for us to follow. Sometimes it's difficult to understand, difficult to implement, but most times it's plain and clear what he wants us to do. But you have to spend time in his word to receive that clarity. And I'm not going to pretend that I always get it right, because I know I make mistakes every single day, whether in thought or in deed. And I don't intend to, but it simply comes down to a lack of focus. That's really the difference. The moment I take my eyes off of him and his word and his ways is the moment the world has an opportunity to intercept my thoughts, to intercept my behavior, to influence me. That's what the enemy is waiting to do. So the more we focus in the word, the less likely we will lose our focus, the less likely we will be distracted by whatever the enemy is trying to trip us up with. And so as you spend time in his word, it will take root in your heart, in your mind, and you'll be able to meditate on it every single moment. So it doesn't mean you have to be in the word every single day, but as you learn his word, it will take root and you will naturally cling to it and allow it to guide you in your life. And so my question today for you, for me, I'm looking in the reflection right now, is are you doing what Jesus is instructing you to do? Or have you been doing what he's been instructing you to do? Take a step back and look at what you're doing every single day, what you are focusing on, what you are thinking about most of the day, because that's where our treasure is. That's where our heart is. And so it takes some honest evaluation. If you're not focusing on him, then I encourage you just to open up his word. Ask him to guide you along the way. And the more time you spend in it, the more clarity you will receive. It really is that simple. It doesn't mean it's that easy, but from what I've discovered, the more of him you pursue, the easier this life is to navigate. And I know you'll have the same experience.